Will the Kansas City Chiefs offense look completely different for a fourth consecutive season? It appears that way. We have some notes from mini camp, brought to us by good old Peter Leonardo Sweeney. Pete Space Sweeney. Pete Stephen King Sweeney, however it is that you want to refer to him. It is a slippery slope of a name, but there are a couple things that make me think that the Chiefs' offense is sneakily bracing for things that have offered it troubles in the past. And we will get there in just a couple of notes here. The first note, Pete says that the offensive player of the day was Hollywood Brown, and then gave this entry on X, formerly Twitter, the social media platform formerly known as Twitter. Brown earned this here due to early chemistry with Patrick Mahomes. Looks like they have been together for a while. Connection led to a perfect back shoulder touchdown over cornerback Trent McDuffie during 7-on-7, and a deep shot touchdown that beat safety Chamari Connor during a late 11-on-11 period. Now, I opened this video with a little bit of a spiel on the Chiefs' offense looking different for the whatever number of seasons in a row now. You have to go all the way back to the Kansas City Chiefs dealing with having Tyreek Hill, losing Tyreek Hill, not having any wide receivers for two separate seasons in a row. And even before that, we saw little nuances with the offense that was really sort of, in my opinion, was because Patrick Mahomes became too dependent on his superstars, those superstars being, of course, Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. In the meantime, a couple of different problems have developed, and one thing was kind of a problem. I won't say the whole time, because I believe the 2018 offense was pretty good at this, but for the past two seasons, the deep game has been very lacking for the Kansas City Chiefs. And obviously, Hollywood Brown was acquired in order to work on that. Obviously, Xavier Worthy was brought in order to work on that. But I don't know that we really had any right to expect, no matter how much we saw Hollywood Brown and Patrick Mahomes throwing the ball around in this off season, I don't know that we had any right to expect that automatically he would come in and be catching touchdowns over an all-pro cornerback in Trent McDuffie. Now, as Pete has said a couple times now in these notes, yes, this time of the season often favors the offense. The offense often looks better than the defense at this point in time. Here's the next thing, the next little nuance for what it seems the Kansas City Chiefs might be doing with their offense. Other offensive notes very nearly gave the Offensive Player of the Day nod to rookie tight end Jared Wiley, who was making his presence known early. I counted 6 catches for Wiley on the day, including 3 touchdowns, 2 in the red zone. Way too early indication is that Wiley will be a red zone factor in 2024. You know that I love doling out nicknames here on the channel. I will be referring to Wiley, if this does come true, as Jared the Red. Now, here's an interesting tidbit. We talked a lot about Jared Wiley high-pointing the football. We talked about how Rashee Rice is the type of player and has the type of vertical necessary to high point the football. We talked about how Travis Kelce used to be a high point guy. And most of the time that we've talked about the offense this offseason has been with the deep threats. But guys, isn't it sort of strange that the Kansas City Chiefs have struggled in the red zone for quite some time? I mean, occasionally you end up with your running back Jerick McKinnon having 9 receiving touchdowns in a season, which is one way to do things in the red zone. Other times you have a Kareem Hunt or two running around. Here's the thing that it looks like they're doing with this offense. Look, Xavier Worthy, probably going to be absolutely worthless from the 20 in. Probably just going to be that way. Hollywood Brown, probably going to be worthless from the 20-yard line in to the end zone. Probably just the case. But you have Xavier Worthy and Hollywood Brown between the 20s, right? You have Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy to catch 15, 20, 25-yard passes between the 20s. And then you have your big, hard-running running back in Isaiah Pacheco and your excruciatingly tough interior offensive line for inside the 20s. You want to get out of your 20 plus or 20 negative, right? Because you don't want to have to punt from there. And you want to score when you're inside the red zone on the opposition's end of the field. So you had a running back to do it, and it wasn't really getting the job done. You had Travis Kelce to do it, and comes up good with touchdowns sometimes, but the Chiefs' offense struggled in the red zone nonetheless. So now you have a tight end duo in the red zone, not to mention Noah Gray. Will it be that we see the Kansas City Chiefs offense sort of shell up in the red zone? And you go from a high-flying offense with Xavier Worthy and Kadarius Toney and Hollywood Brown and Mecole Hardman on the field until you get to the red zone, and then all of a sudden you have Jared Wiley, Travis Kelce, Noah Gray, and Isaiah Pacheco. That would be something incredibly difficult for a defense to really adjust to. And I think that might be the game plan. The thing that might stop it from being the game plan is whether or not that 2 and 3 tight end set is ultimately more productive outside of the red zone than you would think. Here's the thing. We might, just the same way that we ended up seeing Patrick Mahomes break down and run in the postseason last year, we might see this offense keep some of those things under wraps early on. Defensive Player of the Day was Joshua Williams. Tough choice in this look, but 2 plays from Williams stood out. Early on, he broke up a would-be touchdown from Mahomes to Watson. Safety Brian Cook was also close in pursuit. Late in practice, Williams prevented a red zone touchdown to Brown. I have been on the record saying that I think the cornerback number 2 spot is going to belong to Jalen Watson. Guys, honestly, so long as someone steps up and takes it, I'm not going to be upset. It has been the case that neither Joshua Williams nor Jalen Watson for 3 seasons now has wanted to step up and take that position. This will be the 3rd season that no one has wanted to step up and take that position, but it appears maybe Joshua Williams is starting to distance himself. By the way, oftentimes when you heard football guys talk, guys who were NFL guys, guys who were professional analysts, things like that, Joshua Williams was the name that they projected in that second cornerback position. Now, the last thing that I have here, we talked a little bit yesterday about Rashee Rice and how he has seemingly dedicated himself to football in the wake of this offseason, and how Pete Sweeney, I did it, I did it. How Pete Vonnegut Sweeney had said that he thought that was an indication that this offseason had not weighed on Rashee Rice, and I disagreed. I said I think that's because it has weighed on Rashee Rice, and sometimes when something gets close to being taken from you, how many articles did we see questioning whether or not Rashee Rice would ever play professional football again? How many pundits asked the question? So I think that what we saw largely, if we are to see, in fact, it's only minicamp, if we are to see, in fact, a brand new Rashee Rice dedicated on the field, it may be because of this offseason, not in spite of this offseason. And we have something similar, a sentiment similar to that from Chris Jones. Other defensive notes, defensive tackle Chris Jones shared that coordinator Steve Spagnuolo is emphasizing his time with the New York Giants from 2016 to 2017 as motivation for 2024. Giants dropped from number 2 defense to number 27 a year later. This seems to be working. Jones said, "It's so easy to get complacent. It's so easy to get to, we'll fix it later. You know what I mean? Especially when you come off such a high. You want to always keep that pressure applied and making sure you're challenging each other at the highest level." It is a wonder that a team who has been to 6 consecutive AFC Championship games, that a team who has been to 4 of the last 5 Super Bowls, won 3 of them, is not complacent. But none of what we see, none of what we hear seems complacent from the Kansas City Chiefs or their constituent parts. It is phenomenal that this is this way. We have seen teams get to the playoffs as the hot young team and then think all the work is done and disappear the next season. The Chiefs are sustaining one of the maybe the second most incredible run in the history of football right now. I'm not sure what the record for the Patriots was at XYZ years and AFC championship games in a row, but they had an insane run. I don't think the Chiefs are all that close to that run, but this is definitely one of the most extreme runs in the history of football, and there is not a second's notice of complacency coming from minicamp. That is all I have for this video. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting the like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other Kansas City Chiefs fans. The Chiefs are the only thing I talk about on this channel, dropping multiple videos every single week, and I hope to have you back for the next one.